Okay, question 14, we start off with some data here. So we've got back-to-back stem and leaf plot, and part 1 asks you to find the median height of the boys. So if you count how many boys there are, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, there are 10 boys. So the median will be between the 5th and 6th. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 6. So the middle two numbers are actually 118 and 122. Alright, so halfway between 118 and 122 is 120. Okay, a few people were tricked and put it was between 114 and 124 because they looked at these two numbers. Alright, so it is a bit confusing there. Remember that you're reading, this is the smallest, working your way up. Smallest up, smallest up. Alright? Okay, part 2 was 4 marks. And really, if you know how to use your calculator, you should be able to do this and get 4 marks without any problems. You just need to be careful when you're entering the data. Alright, so you just obviously needed to enter for the boys 103, 105, 114, and so on. For the girls, it's 102, 102, 104, and so on. Alright, so I'm not going to enter all that information. I'm just going to tell you what the answers should be. So for the boys, we had a mean of 119.9 and a standard deviation of 11.2. For the girls, we had a mean of 117.1 and a standard deviation of 13.3. 4 marks. Okay, which group has the greater consistency in height? Explain your answer. So it's 2 marks. What we were looking for was, first of all, that the boys were more consistent. And the way you know that is because the standard deviation was lower. So boys were more consistent because their standard deviation was lower. Okay, that's it. Alright, on to part B. Bill has a goal to average at least 85 out of 100 in his 4 mathematics tests in the year. His first 3 scores out of 100 were 83, 74, and 89. Can he achieve his goal? Alright, so actually this was done quite well, but a lot of people didn't show much working. So if you got it wrong, what you needed to do was, first of all, add up those first 3 marks. So 83 plus 74 plus 89. And that gave you a total of 246. Alright, if he needs, that's what his current total is. If he needs an average of 85, then you would have 85, it's for 4 tests, so 85 times 4, which is 340. Okay, so for his last test, what he needs on his last test is the 340 minus the 246, and that is 94. Alright, so that was the answer. So it is possible, but he had to score at least 94 to get it. Alright, C, we've got some coordinate geometry here. Now, I think a lot of people were a bit freaked out by the diagram, but actually it's not a complicated question. You just had to think carefully about what you had to do. So part 1 says, show that the second line has the equation 4x minus 3y plus 12. So this is your second line. Alright, now you can see 2 things about this line. Well, you can see more than that, but 2 specific things are that its x-intercept is negative 3 and its y-intercept is 4. So I think the best solutions showed me that. Alright, so if you find the x and y-intercept from this equation, that was the best way of doing it. So let's just quickly do that. So x-intercept, X-intercept, let y equal 0, so 4x minus 0 plus 12 equals 0. So 4x equals negative 12, x equals negative 3. So that's the x-intercept. The y-intercept, we let x equal 0. So 0 plus 5y minus 20 equals 0. 5y equals 20, so y equals 4. And you had to tell me what you were doing, alright? So that working wasn't really enough to show that that's the line. So this is the x-intercept. You had to show me that you understood what you were doing. X-intercept, and this is the y-intercept. Alright, if you showed me those two things, then you got the marks. Another way that people did was to use the values here, find the gradient. So the gradient was rise over run, which is 4 over 3, and a y-intercept of 4, and then they used y equals mx plus b, so 4 on 3, x plus 4, and then change that into general form. Okay, and the last question, find in exact form the perimeter of the shaded triangle. Alright, perimeter, what are we talking about? We're talking about the length or the distance around the shape. So let's have a look at this shape up here. I'm just going to rub all this out so we can see it more clearly. Alright, we have a triangle, 3 sides. We need to find 3 distances. The first distance we can find is between negative 3 and 5. Alright, so let's call that just D1. So I can do that just by counting along the number line. From negative 3 to 5, my distance is 8. D2. D2, let's say it's going from here to here, and I can use Pythagoras. So my height of this right angle triangle is 4. My width, or this length here, is 5. So for D2, I'm going to use Pythagoras. So distance squared equals 4 squared plus 5 squared. So D2 squared is 16 plus 25. So D2 squared is, what's that? That's 41. And so D2 is the square root of 41. Alright, then I've got D3. Let's call it D3. And I've got another right angle triangle. This length is 4, this length is 3. So my right angle triangle is 4 squared plus 3 squared. So D3 squared is 16 plus 9, which is 25. So D3 would be the square root of 25, which is 5. Alright, so I have 3 distances. I have one there, and one there. And so my total distance, okay, I'll just write it up here. My total distance will be 5 plus 8 plus root 41, which is 13 plus root 41. Alright, so I guess you've just got to think about what the question wants you to do. Don't let diagrams and confusing words get you all muddled up, alright? Just look at it, read it, think about what it wants. Perimeter is talking about distance. So look at each line and see how you can find the distance. Alright, that's the end of 14.